Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Eighth session of our attempt to understand Quranic Arabic. So what I started before, the mention of Sifat and Mawsuf, one whose Sifat it is. So, for example, you say Al Muslim As Sadiq. As Sadiq is the Sifat, the adjective, and Al Muslim is the noun whose Sifat it is. The two together, they are one unit. Muslim is Muslim and Sadiq is truthful, right? What I'm trying to explain here is that this is the basic noun, and this Sifat is giving an attribute, a quality of that noun, qualifying, explaining it. From the point of view of Iran, from the point of view of it being Marfa, proper noun, or Nakira, if Alif Lam is not there, common noun. And from the point of view, it being Wahid, singular one, Tasniya, dual, or Jama, plural. As Sadiq, the Sifat, is going to follow its Masuf. So these Sifat, the adjectives, are followers. So if it is Al Muslimu, as Sadiq is going to be as Sadiqu, Al Muslimu Sadiq. If it is that was Rafa, if it is Nasab, it will be Nasab. And if it is Jar, the Sifat is going to be Jar. If it is Marfa, it is Marfa. If it is Nakara, it is Nakara. So if it is Muslimin, it is Muslimin too. So in every aspect, Sifat follows Mawsuf. If there are two Muslim men and they are Nakara, they will be Muslimani. And if you have the Sifat of Muslimani, it's going to be Sadiqani. If it is two Muslim men, but they are in, let's say, Nasab form, Muslimaini, Sadiqaini. Whatever is the form, the nature of Mawsuf, the Sifat is going to follow it. What is a Sifat? Well, it's just qualifying, giving it an attribute of the Mawsuf, the adjective. The other thing that I wanted to just clarify, so I mentioned that when it comes to Nasab and Jar, the same family of six nouns, their appearance changes. After Rafa, I'm talking about Nasab. When a noun is in Nasab form, it would look like this: Musliman, singular, Wahid, and Muzakkar, masculine form. When it will be in Tasniya dual form, Muslimain. Be in Jama form, Muslimin. When the same nasab is going to be in Muannas, feminine form, Muslimatan. I remember I mentioned that this alif is added only because the Arabs add this alif, and this alif is not added here for the same reason. Arabs don't. In language, you do as those people whose mother tongue it is, they do. In Urdu and probably it's Arabic as well. Language is nutq, the way it's spoken, and not mantiq. There's no logic. The logic of language is that that's how people whose language it is, they speak. Two Muslim women in nasab form are Muslimaini, and many Muslim women Muslimatin. One would have thought it would be Muslimatan, but it's Muslimatin, and yet it's Nasr. That's how it is. Now, obviously, if instead of Muslim it's Mu'min, it's going to be Mu'minan, Mu'minaini, Mu'minina, Mu'minatan, Mu'minataini, Mu'minatin, and so on. Whatever the verb to begin with, uh, it will take the changes, accept changes uh, according to the same pattern. Now, this was Nasr. From Nasr, when we move to Jar, which is what we had started talking about, there's only these two changes. Is Muslimin and this is Muslimatin. But the rest is the same. Now, this is Jar. So I said that, you know, in Nasab and Jar forms, the family of six of the nouns, uh, the two are different only insofar as the appearance in singular forms are concerned, singular masculine, singular feminine. So the first verse gave as assignment was verse 14 of Surah Al Imran. Zuyyina linnas. Zuyyina, beautified, has been made linnas for people. Linnas. Because li is one of those 11 huruf jar I mentioned. Bao, tao, kafu, lamu, vao, munzo, muzkhala, rubba, hasha, min, ada, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. 17 are mentioned in this expression, but 11 of them are relevant to us. Bao, tao, kafu, lamu, vao, munzo, muzkhala, rubba, hasha, min, ada, fi, ala, hatta, ila. حب الشهوات. Hub is Rafa. Shahawat are desires, the love of desires. Because of this, this is Rafa. So why is Hub Rafa? Because of Zugyina. Have made have been made to appear. But there are certain things about verbs that we need to know that verbs are either past, this is present, and future. So in Arabic, present and future are the same. They're called mudari. We are interested in naib file and file. Now, when you talk about file and naib file, you know, you're talking about actually fail. They are the ones, file is the one who does fail, and naib file is the one that appears when there is a verb, a fail, which is passive. This is active verb, nasara. The passive verb is nusra. This is past, madi. And mudare, present and future, is mudare, present and future. It's always like this, yansu, tansu, etc. But its passive would always look like this, yun sal, yun sal. So nusra, when you have a design, a shape like this, it's passive, passive of past tense, and yun sal is passive of present and future tense. So the reason I'm mentioning it is that you see nusra and you see zuyyana, does it not appear that the two belong to the same family, it's the same pattern? So it's a passive verb. Zuyyana has been made to appear. What has been made to appear? Hubbu shahwat, the love of desires. Thereafter, we have lots of nouns that have been given jar form by min, minan nisa. minan nisa. This jar is because of min, from amongst women, al banina, and sons, banina. Son is ibnun, one son is ibnun, two sons are ibnani, and many sons, more than two sons, are ibnuna or banuna. Right? When it's going to be jar, then ibnun would be ibnin, and if it's going to be jar dual, ibnaini, and jama banina. So this again is jar because of min. Wal qanatiril muqantarati. Now al qanatir has got jar because of again min al qanatir al muqantarati. Muqantarati. There again has jar. Heaps, heaps of what is mentioned later. This al-Qanatir has jar because of min, and al-Muqantara is its sifat. It's describing these heaps uh, further by mentioning its quality. Minas Zahab. Now, Minas Zahab again is, al-Zahab is getting jar because of min, wal Fidda again jar, wal Khaylil Musabbamati. Khayl are horses, al Musabbamati are branded. Khayl again takes jar because of min, but al musabbama is getting jar because these branded, this is sifat of al khayl. Khayl doesn't have a ta towards the end, but here you have a ta, which is like mu'mina, muslima, which is feminine. In Arabic, this is also feminine. You know, this word is feminine, al musabbama, al khayl. So it will have a sifat which will likewise be feminine. So the Arabs, it's their decision what word they would choose to be masculine and what to be feminine, and there are several reasons for it. We just follow what they say. ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. This is, that is, whatever has been discussed, these different, call them aspects of worldly life. So why is mata in rafa form? These are the resources of this worldly life. This is muktada, and mata is its cover, followed by al hayat dunya, the worldly life. I'm not touching it right now, although um, this is mawsuf and this is sifat, but right now it doesn't interest me. What interests me is that this is rafa, and this rafa is because of it being a khabar, and it's the khabar of this mubtada. Zalika is in rafa form. But what we learn from here is that there are words, and let me say many words, that come in rafa form, but they do not appear in the uh, typical rafa form. Next is Wallahu indahu husnul ma'ab. Allah with him husnul ma'ab is excellent return. The rafa in Allah and the rafa in husn. So obviously this is mubtada and this is khabar. Indahu is explaining this khabar. It's he who gives. He is the one who possesses uh, good, best returns. Verse 15 says, قُلْ أَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ. Ask them, should I not tell you what is even better, بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ, from these worldly pleasures. So, ba is a harf jar, and it is given khair jar, بِخَيْرٍ. أَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ. Should I not tell you what is better? Min zalikum, min is also harf jar, but it's not doing anything to zalikum. It stays the same. What I can say is zalikum is in jar form. للذين اتقوا عند ربهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. First take Jannat. Jannat is most clearly Rafa. Gardens in the Rabbi with their Lord. As yet, we don't know why there is jar over here, but okay. لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا, for those who are God fearing. In the Rabbihim, with their Lord, Jannatun, are gardens. When you have something like a Muktada, it's not like it typically should be in Marifa form. It's not a common, it's not a proper noun. And there is a khabar which comes in the like starting with a harf jar or something similar that gives jar. Although it's not harf jar, it is doing the same task as harf jar does by giving jar. What exactly is it? We'll talk about it later. But nonetheless, it's similar to the jar huruf that it's giving jar here to Rabb. It's not Rabbuhum, Rabbahum, it's Rabbihim. The khabar comes first and Mubtada comes later. Tajri min tahtiha al-anhar. Now the next noun that should interest us is al-anhar, which is in Rafa form. Al-anhar is rivers or canals. Why is it in Rafa form? Well, because of this. Tajri are flowing or shall flow. What shall flow? Al-anhar. Tajri, where um, min tahtiha. Min tahtiha. Underneath them. That is, there are gardens, and underneath, below those gardens, the gardens are on it's a mountain. Uh, there's a land that is elevated, raised, and underneath there are rivers flowing. So an anhar is getting rafa because it's the file of tajri. What is flowing? What are going to be flowing? An anhar. خالدين فيها وأزواج مطهرة وأزواج, and spouses. Normally, this translated as wives, but it means zauj. Zauj is spouse. For husband, the zauj is wife, and for wife, zauj is husband. So it's spouse. Azwajun mutahharatun, purified, pure. Obviously, because azwaj is rafa, mutahhara, its sifat is also rafa. What azwaj, what spouses, what kind of spouses? Purified. So both are rafa. However, it seems to be apparently not following the other rule, the other anticipated change, which is it has a ta, which means it's oneness, it's feminine, although we don't find anything that is appearing to be feminine here. Again, there is something that needs to be learned. Right now, we don't know, but we'll know very soon, inshallah. The sentence, it starts with this, لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ جَنَّاتٌ. And after that, it's again the same. عند ربهم أزواج مطهرة. So before their Lord, there are gardens, and before their Lord, there are spouses purified. وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. And there is Rizwan min Allah. Rizwan. Again, the same way as Jannat, the same way as Azwaj, there is Rizwan, approval of Allah. Min Allah. Min is again harf jar, therefore Allah is taking jar. Min Allahi is getting jar because of min. Min is written like this, min. But if there is a reason for it to join the next noun in reading, well, it gets a what is called fatha, what we call zabar. Wallahu basirum bil ibad. That again is something we are familiar with. Uh, Wallahu and God basirum sees, watches. Muqtada is marifa, proper noun, and khabar is nakara, common noun. Bil ibad, he is watching whom? He is watching servants, his servants. So ibad is preceded by ba, which is harf jar, and it gives jar. 18 is Shahid Allah. God witnesses. So Allah has rafa because Shahida is a verb and Allah is the file, the doer of that verb. Wal malaikatu, and angels too. So angels again have rafa because they too are the file doer of Shahida. Who is witnessing? Who is being a witness? Allah and the angels. Wa ulul ilm, and those who have knowledge. Qaimam bil qist. Al qist has jar because of ba. Bil qist. They gives jar. La ilaha illa huwa al azizul hakim. Al aziz is rafa. Al hakim is rafa. They are both khabar, and huwa is muqtada. He is. In other words, Allahul Azizul Hakim. Al Hakim is not the sifat of Al Aziz, but it is another khabar. So there are two khabars. It's not that Al Hakim is qualifying, is being an adjective of Al Aziz. They are both two different khabars. 19. Inna Dina indallahi al-Islam. Al-Islam has rafa because it's khabar. Inna Deen, indeed the religion, Al-Islam, is Islam. In the law, in the eyes of God, before God. وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْعِلْمُ. Al-Ilm is indeed Rafa. After Al-Ilm came to them. So Al-Ilm is Rafa. Why? Because it's file of Ja'a. Came to them what? Al-Ilm. So it's Al-Ilm is Rafa because of Ja'a. بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُمْ, because of the animosity between them. وَمِنْ يَكْفُرْ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ, and whoever rejects the ayat, verses of God. So ayat has jar because of bi ayatillah. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ, so God, Sariul Hisab, is quick, swift in taking account. So Sari has a rafa because it's khabar. What is the mubtada? فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ. Why is Allah not taking rafa? Well, it's something we'll talk about later. But Sariul Hisab is rafa. فإن حاجوك فقل أسلمت وجهي لله ومن اتبعني وقل للذين أوتوا الكتاب والأميين أسلمتم فإن أسلموا فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما عليك البلاغ. إنما عليك البلاغ. Al-Balagh is Muqtada and Alayka is the khabar that has come before. So al-balaghu alayh, to communicate is upon you. This is the same principle that when you have a khabar that begins with a harf jar, it quite often uh, comes before the muqtada. Wallahu basirun, and Allah is watching bil ibad servants. We have already seen it. Allah is muqtada, basir is khabar. Verse 22. Ulaika allazina habitat amaluhum. Amaluhum has rafa. Why? Because habitat means have become worthless, have been destroyed. So habitat is a verb, destroyed. What got destroyed? Amaluhum. So amal is file of habitat. Fit dunya wal akhirah, in this world and akhirah. Fi is giving an akhirah jar. Dunya remains the same. Why? It remains to be seen. فَمَا لَهُم مِّن نَاصِرِينَ. Nasirin has jar because of min. It was actually Nasirun, but because of min, it's Nasirin. The last verse is Alam tara ila alladhina utu nasibam min al-kitab. Al-kitab is jar because of min. Yud'auna ila kitabillah. Kitab is jar again because of ila. Liyahkuma bainahum. Thumma yatawalla fariqun. Then turned a group. Turned. So yatawalla is turned, like yansuru I mentioned. It's a verb. Who turned? Fariqun, a group. So fariqun is the file of yatawalla. Wahum moridun. Moridun again is rafa. So it's the khabar of hum, and they are moridun. They are the ones who turn away. The same surah, Al Imran, verse 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 37, 40. Yes, Farah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Right.
Sir, when I was doing the assignment, I had a confusion between min and an. Sometimes they create exactly same meaning, and same confusion sometimes for ba. The meaning was changing. Sometimes we say with, sometimes off. Can you give me any, like, especially for min and an?
You see, we have not as yet talked about the meanings, but if you want to know one reason, uh, did I mention that you see these huruf jar have their own meanings, but they quite often come as prepositions of verbs. So ba will come for its own meanings with alongside, but ba also comes as a preposition of certain verbs. So, for example, la is a harf jar, which means for. Lillahi, for Allah, to Allah belongs. But the same la is actually the preposition of, let's say, qala. When you say qala, he said lahum, to them. So in that case, you will find that lam is not giving the meaning that you were expecting it to give. It is actually the preposition of qala. So, as far as meanings are concerned, let's keep looking at the translations. Quite often you will find that translators do sometimes disagree in the meanings as well. But that's a completely separate uh, area of understanding, which when we do these Arab and we get familiar more and more with the way uh, words, both nouns and verbs, change their form, in the process, we learn the meanings as well and the vocabulary too.
Are there any like is there a cheat sheet or a hack where we follow like, for instance, like we went to like 8 rules. Now, can we like dissect them or arrange them in a manner then when we are translating a verse or identifying the assignment, is there any cheat sheet to it? Like, okay, so we will look at this rule first, and then the rule number two is this one, and the rule number three is this one. Like, for example, like first we see for file, then second we see for Jama and things like that. So it kind of like if it can makes our work easier. Right now, the problem like today's assignment was like more I was like more on an accurate side, but what I missed was basically the plurals. of like habitat amaluhum. So I missed it entirely because I never considered amaluhum as like a jama, right? So these are the sort of things like I was wondering like if there's any cheat sheet or any like kind of like rules that we can follow.
The way I feel you will be able to learn gradually more and more is when you will come across words, nouns that are not following the pattern that you are familiar with. I'm glad that you've asked about Amal. Uh, instead of giving you a long list of principles, I feel that it probably is a better idea that as and when you find something unfamiliar, uh, you you make note of it and then you get an answer to it. So probably now is the occasion, and I'm going to keep repeating these things. Now is the occasion to tell you that it's not that nouns always follow the same predictable pattern. I mean, amal is a noun. One amal is amalun. So one would have thought that two amal should be amalani and many amal should be amaluna. No, the Arabs, when they come up with the plural of amal, instead of amaluna, they have come up with another word which is amal. So amal is the plural of amal, and this is uh, breaking that pattern. And this is something which you will find is quite common. There are many nouns which, when they take a plural form, they are not following the pattern of Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna. The pattern is broken from Muslim, Muslimun to Muslimuna, Muslimuna, and from Amalun to Amal. This is called this one, Jama Salim. And this one is called Jama Mukassar. This pattern, which is what should be familiar, normal, common pattern for us, is the one in which the original singular noun remains salim, intact. So there is an addition of una to the original noun Muslim. Many Arabic nouns, they take that route. That's the pattern that is followed. But quite often you will find that pattern getting violated. Well, I'm saying violated. The Arabs speak Muslim in plural form as Muslimuna and Amal in plural form as Amal. Uh, but obviously, when we are learning as outsiders, we have to choose one as normal and the other as, well, an exception. This is called Mukassar. Mukassar means the one that is broken, the one that has been broken. So you see, Amal has been broken in Amal. It's not retained in its original form. So, thanks to your question, Tala, let's also add to the list of our rules that we have done, very few rules that we have done, this rule as well, that nouns in Arabic language are of two categories. Nouns that when they come in Jama form, their plural Jama is Salim. That is, what is there in singular noun, its singular form is retained. It doesn't change. And there is una added to it. And in feminine as well, likewise. But then there are other nouns which are when they take the plural form, then the original singular form gets broken, gets disturbed. So they are called Jama Mukassar. Okay, inshallah. See you next uh, what Tuesday/Wednesday morning again. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.